Awesome. Thank you guys so much. It is such an honor to be here tonight. I'm going to move this over just a smidge. Kim, I just want to thank you first and foremost for giving me this platform tonight to share my story, for this amazing ministry that you foster and you care for and you pray for, and the hours that people don't see that you pour into this. It just provides so much hope. So give it up for Kim. She's amazing. We wouldn't be here tonight without her. She threatened me. She said, you have 20 minutes. Don't go over because I'm probably going to go over and you can't go over and all that stuff. So, and I said, don't worry. I'm a youth pastor. So if I speak longer than 20 minutes to the youth, they either stab each other with a pen just for the fun of it or so I said, no problem. I want to thank my beautiful wife, Lindy, that Dom mentioned. I'm not sure where she's at. Maybe she's upstairs. Hey, everybody say hi. And Veda, she's got Veda up there, my 6-month-old little daughter. So I want to shout out Lindy just because she deals with me, and she has dealt with me. We met in middle school. We've been together through every up and down, every season. She's been there and supported me when I didn't deserve it. We actually just got back from a trip to Mexico, by the way, that she earned through her business. And you want to talk about, understanding, the love of God that you don't deserve? Try to sit on a beach in Mexico that you had nothing to do with, getting there on an all-expense. Yeah, that was amazing. So thank you, babe. I love you. So my name is Vinnie Candelore. Like Dom mentioned, I'm on staff here at Mosaic Church. I'm the youth director. And it's amazing to get to work with the youth. I actually never imagined myself doing that. I didn't grow up in church. I grew up just kind of with a basic understanding of God, Jesus, Christianity, but it was kind of just out there. A lot of the church background that I had was just the Catholic faith. But I was never baptized Catholic. So it was just honestly, my whole spiritual journey growing up was just confusing. I just had no idea what was going on. But I grew up in Pittsburgh, if you didn't know that about me. And actually, when I joke about it all the time, the first time I actually heard about Jesus, I thought he played for the Steelers because, it'd just be watching the game, and my grandfather would just be like, oh, Jesus, and I'd be like, oh, he's in the game again, I guess. I don't know. So why am I here tonight? Okay, I'm not just doing stand-up. So I have a picture that I want to show, if we have it up there. So this is a post that I made on Instagram. I cut the date off, fail, but I forget when it was. But so I just posted this, and it was just one of those days where you're just sitting in your room, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to post something. People are going to feel this. And so I posted it, and Kim commented on it and was like, this is why you need to speak at ICU. And so I was like, all right, let's do this. And so I auditioned, and now I'm here. But I want to just kind of start off my story with a little bit of background on how I got to be the person in this photo. As you can see, I got my little helmet up here. So the guy in this photo, okay, I got a question first. Does anybody else hate when someone tells you should do something that you were already thinking or planning to do? Isn't that so frustrating? I know. Now I don't even want to do it anymore because you told me to do it. So, next time, just let me. So, that was my dad in my life. He was always the guy that knew what was best for me, and I hated it. I was just like, dude, why do you always have to tell me what I need to do? Just let me figure it out. I'll get it there. But he always knew what was best. And so, the moments in my life when I had an idea first, and he was like, go for it. I was like, oh, I'm on this. I got his blessing. He knows what's, I knew he knows what's best for me. So if he backed it up and I was like, he got the thumb up, I'm going all after it. So I went back and I thought, okay, 3 times in my life that led to this moment, 3 decisions that I made in my life that he backed that really stood out to me. And it's funny that you mentioned just going back and thinking about what was the snap thing that pops into your mind? So that was where I went with this. And the first major decision that I remember was I decided I was going to play football. And, okay, you're like, okay, cool, big deal. But my dad was a huge baseball fan and a huge baseball player in my family. Everyone knew he was the guy. Vinny's going to be a baseball player. So for me, I think I was in second grade, that was the first time I was like, okay, Dad, I'm going to do something on my own right now. And so I decided I'm going to play football, not baseball. And I didn't know how he'd react, but he sacrificed in that moment what he wanted. And he actually volunteered to be my football coach and led us to a championship in our first year. He had no idea what he was doing. But he sacrificed for what he wanted for what I wanted. And so that was one of the first major decisions I remember going back to and thinking, wow, that was pretty cool. The next one, actually, is still along the lines of football. I decided that I was going to major in art, which is what every father wants to hear, because now I'm going to be set up financially for the rest of my life, and it's just going to be successful from here on out. And I said, and also, the 5'10" white dude's going to walk onto a football team too, so I'll earn a scholarship, Dad, don't worry about it. But he supported me. So I decided I was going to do this, and he supported me fully. He took me on trips to visit schools, to try, to walk on to different universities. He took me to art contests at universities and helped me earn scholarships that way. So he just fully supported me in that. So he sacrificed for me. He supported me. And so go back to this photo. This was taken my senior year. After a lot of trials and just things that happened in my playing career, my sophomore year, wearing this helmet that you see right here, I suffered my first concussion on the football field. It was a hit from my own player I didn't see coming. He lowered his helmet, hit me in the side of the helmet right here. And watching the film, he knocked me out of the video. You didn't even see me. I was in the frame, and then I was out of the frame. And I was laying on the ground. I don't remember any of it. But this was really kind of before the whole big deal about concussions was being made in football. It was right on the cusp of that. So honestly, it was just all right, you got your bell rung, get back up and get in the game kind of thing. So I rushed back. A few months went by. I got cleared to play. Went back. My first day back on the practice field, I actually suffered my second concussion wearing this helmet right here. So then I had to make a decision. I said, I'm going to sit out the rest of the season, and I'm going to come back in the spring. I came back in the spring. Shortly after that, wouldn't you know, this thing gave me my third concussion. So within 4 to 5 months, I had suffered 3 concussions, 2 of them very severe. The third one was now they were just happening every time I got hit in the head. It was a very routine hit. So I quit football for a year. I quit planning to never come back. And in that time, I really missed it. It was really tied to my relationship with my father. It was tied to my identity. It was who I was. It was what everyone said. Oh, Vinnie, he's a football player. Vinnie does this. He's an artist and he's a football player. As a matter of fact, I scored 1 touchdown in my college career. And the announcer goes, he's also a great artist. And I'm like, dude, just tell him I'm a good football player. I got to throw that in there. So this is after taking a year off. I actually became just really just depressed. I wanted to be on the team. It was the first time I was never on a team since second grade. And so I just felt like I kind of let my dad down or let my family down. And he never made me feel that way, but I just carried that weight. And so I decided, this was my third major decision, that I'm going to come back. I'm going to make a comeback and I'm going to play football again. And in that moment, I was not a lot of people believed that I could do it because I had taken a year off of training, all this stuff. But he believed in me. So he trained with me. He got up early with me. He drove me to the gym. He stood there and threw passes to me. He just believed that it was in my heart. I wanted to do it, so he supported me. So I go back to these things, and like I said, he sacrificed, he supported, and now he believed in me. I didn't know Jesus, but I understood the love of Jesus because of the way that he reacted to me. And so if we can just kind of grasp that tonight, the fact that the way that Jesus sacrificed for you before you knew him, the way that he supported you when you didn't think he was there, and the way that he believes in you for your future when you don't. When you don't. And I'm so thankful for my father for painting that picture when he didn't even realize he was showing me Jesus. And such a testimony that we can go out into the world, and that's why people can show each other Jesus just through being present, because Jesus can work through anybody. You know, like I said, the coaches in this time, they weren't so like up on the protocol for concussions and all that stuff. So it was like, just get back in the game, get back in the game, get back in the game. But that's not the point of the story. But it was a pressure to perform. And this is actually where the pattern in my life flipped. As I mentioned, it was I decided, he sacrificed, I succeeded. I decided, he supported, I succeeded. But now my reality was that I decided, he believed, I was rejected because I didn't perform, because my head was not clear. And so I felt terrible. And in that moment, I'm thinking, okay, what's his reaction? At the same time, he was diagnosed. So now I'm excited, and I know that I'm used to finding success after someone believing or succeeding in me and all this. And I come back, and he's got his own battle now. And it was just in that moment where I realized, okay, now I need to pause. I need to sacrifice. I need to support, and I need to believe for him. And it was easy to do the sacrificing. It was easy to support through chemo, through everything, because I could control how much I did that. I can be there to support. I can sacrifice being at school. I can move home and help you. But the believing part was bigger than me, because I can control how much I believe, but I can't control the outcome of what I'm believing for. So that was where I fell, and that was where I realized that in order for me to really, truly understand the goodness of God, like, I have to be able to know him. And without being part of this community, I didn't get that. But without being part of a people that would point me to him, regardless of what was going on, my belief would always be dictated by what I could do. And when your belief is based off of what you think you can do, it's really easy to fall short. That's why it's so important for us, and I learned this the hard way, is that we have to surrender, and we have to just invite him to be the thing that we believe in, not the circumstance, not the situation. We just have to believe that he's good and that he's there. And so, fast forward a little bit, September 13th, 2015, my dad passed away. 49 years old, and a quick little story, just to show you the heart of my dad. My mom's birthday was September 12th, 2015. And I remember him throughout that last day as his body was shutting down. He looked at me and he said, He looked at me and he was in and out of consciousness, and he kept saying, "What time is it? What time is it?" I would tell him the time, and 15 minutes would go by. "What time is it? What time is it?" The first time that he asked me what time it was, and it was the day after my mom's birthday, was the day that he let go. He refused to pass on her birthday. That just shows you the character of the man that raised me, and how much of an impact that I can't get up here and tell the story of everything he did for me. But it shows you his heart, and it was definitely the heart of Jesus. And that's why I have such peace right now to know that he's with him, because he understands it. He understands the heart of Jesus. Now, what I left out of that story was when I found Jesus. The moment that I found Jesus was actually after a series of very low moments. After his diagnosis, like I said, I quit the team. I moved back home to Pittsburgh. And just watching my mom through this, they had been together since high school, it broke me down. To see her hurting on such a way that I couldn't help. I actually pushed everyone away from me in this season. I wanted nothing to do with community. Even my friends, not even just a church community, because I wasn't part of a church community in this moment. I pushed my relationships away. I had been with Lindy since middle school, basically. Made it all the way through college. And now I started sabotaging that relationship because I was not in a place to love myself or my surroundings, and I couldn't love her. And so I pushed her away. And so I was alone, and I was depressed, and I was watching my dad reel, and I was watching my mom just be in pain, and I had nothing to offer them. And that feeling is so alone. It's so alone to be in a situation where you want to give hope to someone, but you don't have it yourself. And you want to help someone heal, but you don't know how. Lindy then invited me to church in this season. We had been split up for a year. She found a church while we were apart, and she kept inviting me. And I didn't go at first. And I said, nope, that's weird. Not going there. Those people are weird. I didn't understand. And she kept praying for me, and praying for me, and praying for me. And one day I just woke up and I said, what time is church? I have no idea why. I don't even remember doing that. But I went. And the pastor spoke that morning. And in his sermon, he was talking about football. And I was like, all right. Like, this is ridiculous. I heard clearly from God that morning that if you're going to be there for your family, if you're going to believe for your family, if you're going to support and sacrifice for your family, eventually you're going to run out if you do it on your own. And my life was never the same. I've actually never shared this with anyone other than this morning when I was trying to explain to some people what I was going to talk about. I've never even shared this story with my wife. My low moment was actually sitting in my car after I had been given antidepressant medication from my doctor, going into work, and I don't even know what I was doing, but I was so numb. I remember in my car on my center console, I crushed up an antidepressant and snorted it. What am I doing? Thank you. I mean, that was my mindset, though. I was like, yeah. But for real, I had never, experienced, that kind of, feeling before to want to do that. And I remember my nose burnt really bad. And I was like, why did I do that? And I, blew my nose for about 30 minutes after that, and then just looked at myself in the mirror. And I was like, all right, I'm going to church. I don't know if that's why I went, but I just remember that moment. You just remember moments that stick out as you're just like, what are you doing right now? This is not you. This is not you. But the good news that I have is that God was with me in these moments. He was with me when I drove home drunk one night, and I hit the center median, and my left tire went up in the air, and I remember my Jeep almost rolling and driving on 2 tires. He was with me. I don't know how. He was with me. He was with me when I came back to him. He was with me when I got baptized on January 1st with my wife. This was 2016. So I guess my main point tonight is whatever you're going through, whatever your situation is that you find yourself in, whether you're fighting for your health, whether you're fighting for your finances, whether you're fighting for your marriage, whether you're fighting for these depression thoughts, suicidal thoughts to leave you, whatever your battle is, God is bigger than it. He's so much bigger than it that you actually will never understand what he's doing for you. He's with you in the good and the bad, but we only ask him what he's doing in the bad. Have you ever noticed that? I want to read Isaiah 55, verse 8. This is the NLT version. It says, my thoughts are nothing like your thoughts, says the Lord. And my ways are far beyond anything you could imagine. For just as the heavens are higher than the earth, so my ways are higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. And I love this because it doesn't just say, my ways are higher than some of your thoughts. It says your thoughts, all of your thoughts. So think about the craziest thought that you're like, oh, I get what God's doing in this moment. He's doing so much more that you can't see. He's protecting you from spiritual battles that you don't even see happening. And so when people ask me, how do you know? What's your proof that Jesus forgives? What's your proof that he loves you and that God exists and that he's good? I don't have an answer. I just know that he is because I'm standing right here. I'm right here. And he's with me, and he always will be. And so he could be with you, and he always will be. So thank you guys for letting me share. Love you guys.